Hey guys, I just want to show you a quick adjustment that we can use to help us solve some option problems on the weak side. I'm going to show you what option looks like using our base rules, and then a couple adjustments that we can make to that. And so basically what I'm looking here especially is the weak side option when we're in trips. And the speed option is going to look like quarterback, okay? And then halfback getting into pitch relationship. Okay, so we got two players that we got to count for. We need two guys to count for them. They're going to option the tackle, right? So whichever one he takes as their option, which means they're going to work to try and scoop the hawk, the three technique, okay, and then they're going to work up to the will. What we can't have happen is either the hawk or the will has to come free. And using our base rules, the way we do things right now, in option game, the quarterback's chest is to you. The tackle is going to make a kill call, which basically means he's going to attack the quarterback as quick as he can, turn this thing into a toss, and then we should be able to, should never get reached at hawk, okay, we should be able to run inside out here and hopefully get over top and defeat that block and run inside out there. And we might get help from the corner late on it, okay? So that's the base rules of the way that works. If we're having problems and we're getting cut off on it, and also to help some other things, one thing we could do is switch our base responsibilities on it, okay? And that would be a cue call. So what that would look like, I'm just going to clean this up and then I'll show you what that would look like. So a cue call would switch the tackle off of his base responsibility. Now that I got this cleaned up here, okay, they're going to go down again. That they either have to cut off our will and scoop the hawk, or they got to down and try and scoop us that way, okay. And so what we would do here, okay, if we made a cue calls, we would take this guy's normal option rules, which is chest two rules. I'm a quarterback player. And we just say you're going to relate to the back in option, okay? In this case, in the speed option, all right, he would take this away, slow play it, and take that pitch away. And buy time for our hawk, who again shouldn't be able to get cut off, and or our will, if they are going to try to double team our hawk, to split that double team off, and then we got a man, and we should be able to handle the quarterback that way on weak side option, okay? So the first option that we have, just to change things up if we were having some problem with the option, I meant to say call, would be cue call, okay? So the call would be cue call, all right? So the next thing we'll look at is a hammer stunt, okay? So cue call is one way that we just switch the option responsibilities. Before we get off of that, that could work for any kind of option. And if we did like a dive option scheme, like say we were facing a team that's running timber or cobra at us, okay, that's just going to tell our D linemen, who normally are going to follow their chest two rules, when they get that quarterback chest to you, now with the cue call, our backers are going to take the quarterback, you're going to take the dive on the chest to you, okay? So basically it makes our D linemen, they always are going to take the backs, and then our backers will be responsible for quarterback. Normally, chest two rules is our linemen are going to take the quarterback on it, and our backers are going to relate to the backs. That just fits into what our base responsibilities are. So a cue call just switches the responsibility on option on a chest two quarterback between the D line and the backers. Okay. The next option we have is called a hammer. And we're going to give it two names. It's really the same stunt, but we're going to give it two names just to make it easier to understand. Okay, so I have hammer, and then on the other side of hammer, let's say I wanted to run it to the buck side, then I'm just going to make a bang call. Okay, so hammer and bang. Hammer makes a bang, right? So it's easy to understand. They're the same stunt. If I'm talking to the hawk side, it's a hammer call. Depending on what front we're in, the hawk would have to do either one of these two. But it's going to be an exchange between the tackle and the hawk. So let me clean this up and then I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so a hammer call is talking to the hawk side. And all it's going to tell these guys is normally I'm the C gap player, normally I'm the B gap player. Okay. So we're going to line twist in order to exchange those gaps. Okay, it's good against a couple things, but it's going to take this option away. So basically, the tackle is going to play the backside of the offensive tackle, and he's going to be the B gap inside player. Okay, on option. Now this is the quarterback's already drawn in here, so basically what that's going to mean is it's really no different for the tackle on speed option. He would be the quarterback player, or on a read option, he'd be the dive player. Okay, the inside of those two. So he's always going to attack the inside of the mesh, the downhill of the mesh. And if there is no mesh, the inside player is the quarterback, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'll draw this again, what it looks like to speed option here in a second. So the tackle in this case is going to be playing B gap. In option rules, that's going to force him to take the quarterback. Okay, so now the option, now the offense has to choose. Okay, they're going to take their offensive tackle to our hawk, or they're going to take their offensive tackle to our will, because the hawk is doing an exchange and he's running out to C gap. Okay, this will help us on speed option. This also helps us on down kick out to the weak side, because I'm putting that tackle into the position where he's going to have to be forced to spill the guard pull if the guard pulls this way, and we got an extra guy that we're gaining to the outside. So against those two things, gap schemes and speed option weak side, this can be very effective. Okay, now one of these two, only one of these two is going to be picked up by the tackle. Okay, it's a little tricky if we were to run a hammer stunt, for example, here, and then we get something inside. Our will has to be a little slower to go, okay, and read the path of this. All right, so if we get a downhill, right, if we get a downhill back in here, and then they're acing our nose to our will, that will's got to be able to replace quickly. But the hope is if our tackle doesn't get walled out, then he can play the backside B, and then our will should be in good position just to play it inside out. So that's a Q call, a hammer call. A bang call would just be talking to the other side. Or if the buck was on this side, the bang would be an exchange between the buck and the tackle on that side. Okay, on the tackle, and I'll show you this on this side. So let's say we had a bang on to this side. Okay, a hammer and a bang. All right, then the tackle is going to need to line up. He's just going to want to line a little wide. Okay, almost in a 4-eye here. Okay, so no different for the buck. He's going to take B gap away. The tackle, per the call on the snap, is going to float out, and he's ready to pick up anything that's going to be spilled to him by the buck. Okay, so the buck is the B gap player, and the tackle is the C gap player based on their twist. Okay, and we're playing that on the backside. All right. If we get upside zone or outside zone, all right, you just got to work to that outside shoulder. That tackle is going to fly. All right, let's say it was some kind of outside zone here scheme, and we force it per this scheme, force it and have our tackle running around it free as he should be. All right, then backers just got to be ready to play inside out and fill open windows if we get that thing cut off. All right, but without going into too much further depth, those are some simple adjustments that we can make: a Q call, a hammer call, and a bang call. And those will help us in the option game a little bit. Okay.